everyone, welcome to Kelly's Creative Dream Studios, and it is our April challenge, and we're pulling, and well, we're not pulling a stick this week. We're still pulling inspiration from Ceri the crafter at Ceri Griffiths channel. So this week I'm going to combine two of his videos into one element. Okay, so today you're going to need book pages, some acrylic paints, a water bottle, and some baby wipes. And this is how he's making some elements, but we're not going to make the elements. We're just going to use part of that technique. And you'll see, I was originally using the typing book because I wanted white pages. Well, those are slick, and I wasn't sure how they'd take the acrylic paints. So I pulled out regular book pages because since I'm coloring them anyway, it doesn't matter if they're not white. So I have some samples here I'm going to come back to in a minute, but let's start with what we are actually doing today. And all you're going to do, I have a series of stuff here. One is, let's use the blue since it's open. And all you're going to do is you're going to take your book page, you're going to take your baby wipe and your acrylic paints. Now if your acrylic paints are a little gummy like mine are, pop them out and give them a squirt and water them down a little bit. And then you're just going to wipe your page and apply the color. You can use a brush if you want, but we're not after perfection here. But you are going to want to use a craft mat of some type. I'm using the back side of a contact paper where I pull the sheet of contact paper off. And I have the relief paper. Now you can see my paints, I am in way need of new paints. But since that's a little gummy, I just put it down there, gave it a squirt, and I'll swirl it around with this, with my baby wipe. And my baby wipes are also pretty dried out, so I just saturated them with some water. And you're going to want to be gentle if you're working with gummy paints or too much water, because you can tear your paper. Okay, and then just set it aside to dry until our video for tomorrow. Okay, now that's my blue, and I'll come back and finish the blue. Here is, I had some green down here. My green was really gunky, so I'm going to see if I can get some of that to come out. Squirt it with the water and get my green baby wipe down here that I was using earlier. And the more you thin it down, the more transparent it's going to become. So, something else to keep in mind. If you want a darker color, don't water it down as much. You may not even have to water it down at all if you've got a good quality paint and your baby wipe. The moisture in your baby wipe should be enough. And it doesn't matter which direction you go, you're just out to put color on your book page. Okay, did the blue, did the green. Let's do another purple. My purple is a real disaster. And it's way darker than I want. I would prefer to have a lavender. Now I have paint all over here where I was running off my page. I'm just going to come back with a wet cloth and wipe my surface down. Try not to get into that blue because I want to take and wipe it down with more book pages later. Okay, see, I've got gunky blue all over me. So I'm going to come back with my purple. Now my purple is really dark, and I'm going to hit it with some more water and see if I can lighten it up more, because I really don't want that dark of a purple. But it's the only purple I had. But as you can see, compared to my first one, I've watered this one down more. And so I have a little bit lighter tone on the paper. And I'm just going to take and hit that baby wipe with some water. And come back and see how much more of that I can get off the baby wipe. Now you can lay your baby wipes aside and let them dry and use those for another project. That's perfectly fine too. We may even put some of mine to use at another time. But not for this project. And I got some blue in there. And then I had a pink one, and I have some pink left over here on my baby wipes. So let's see if I can find a book page. These are from a writing book called The Writer's Digest, which talks about different markets. Now my pink is really good. Let me get that purple off of there first. Okay. That on my glue box. Put me some pink up there. Make sure my baby wipe is wet. And I'm just going to come back in and pick up that pink. Now you are getting 2 different techniques this week, but that's because I want you to do your book pages and let them dry. Now I did dry mine earlier with my heat gun so that I'd have my samples for you, but I don't think I'm going to do that with these. I think I'm just going to let them dry on their own overnight. And then tomorrow I'll be back to show you what we are going to do with these. Just like that, okay? And then while I've got some pink left, I'm going to come back and swipe this one a little more and let it dry with the rest of them. So use as many colors as you want, do as many book pages as you want. I would suggest at least 6 book pages. You can do whatever colors you want to do, coordinate with your with whatever journal you're working on, have them as bases that you will put back and use later. Doesn't matter. Just have at least 6 book pages ready to play with for tomorrow. More or less, definitely 6, more, somewhere between 6 and 10. And I'll show you tomorrow what our next step is in this combination of 2 of Ceri's projects. And then later this week, I'm going to have another project that I'm working on that I'm going to share with you that is part of a challenge with Line Dot Arrow and Natalie. She's got a really cool one called a Stuffed Paper Bag Challenge going on this week, and it's due on Friday. So, because it ran from last Friday to this coming Friday. So I've been working on that. Last night, I got home really late, so I had to take my medicines too late. So I was up and down all night, and every time I woke up, I'd lay there and think about my stuffed paper bag project and what I wanted to do until I fell back to sleep. And so by the time I got up this morning, I had a general idea of what I wanted to do. And everybody says, you know, it takes them forever to come up with a project, and it seems like I just throw something together. Well, I don't. I'm usually processing what I want to do in my head. So when I do get the time to sit down and work on something, it doesn't take me forever to do. I know where I'm going. And you're going to see that process with this stuffed paper bag challenge with Natalie at Line Dot Arrow. In the meantime, paint your book pages, and I will see you back here tomorrow to show you what we're going to do with them. In the meantime, remember to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, creative blessings.